Hello and welcome everybody into another edition of the PHNX Suns podcast. I'm your host, Greg Esposito. Ahoy, hoy. Joined as always by the GM, the man, the myth, the legend, whatever you want to call him. He's Saul Bookman. How are you, Saul?
I am good.
All right, then. Well, at least it's not as awkward as it usually is, Gerald. Also joined, as always, by Gerald Bourget. Gerald, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. Doing pretty good.
I gotta get some nicknames for you.
Some nicknames for me?
Yeah. The beat man, the man on the beat.
The man on the beat.
I don't know.
That's the first thing that came to your head.
I was thinking beat
Oh
writer. I don't know.
my
I call
God.
you the GM.
That's my title.
Well, yeah, but
That's not because, like, I never. Okay. Yeah.
oh, this is off to a great start.
Yeah.
We're brought to you by
Fantastic way to lead the show, Espo.
we're brought to you by our friends at who is it? Oh
DraftKings
it's
Sportsbook
DraftKings
app.
Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Use that code PHNX when you sign up, and you will get $200 in free bets if you bet $5 on any NFL team. I wanted to say NBA team. I'm just trying to give away DraftKings money right now. Any NFL team, if they win, you're going to get that $200 in free bets. Gentlemen, we are coming off a game where on Tuesday night we talked about it. Suns did not look particularly great against the Pelicans. Tip topic is a simple one. Are you concerned right now?
I'm not concerned yet. I feel like had they lost that game, then I might have been a little bit more concerned, but they've continued to show that when they play like we know they're capable of playing, they're still very much the team that we saw last year. The problem is consistency. They haven't had any consistency, and I really do think that they're still mentally bogged down from what happened just 3 months ago, from going up 2-0 in the finals, from losing, from having to deal with that pain and then turn right around in one of the shortest off seasons ever and start it up again. That's hard to do. And I feel like they're just kind of a little out of sync right now.
So you are not overly concerned? No.
If we're grading this on a scale of like 1 to 10, I'd put it at like a 5, maybe.
Saul, scale of 1 to 10.
I mean,
how
that's still
concerned are you?
mildly concerned.
I am mildly concerned, but I'm not hitting the panic button. I'm not worried. Like,
Not yet. It's here. We're
we have the
waiting. We
panic
have the
button.
panic
it
button.
says easy on
It
it.
says easy on it. Yeah. It's not even a panic
what
button.
do you want? I can only afford
You couldn't
so
find
much.
a panic button on, like, Amazon?
No, I looked it up. It was going to cost way more than my personal budget allowed to have a panic button.
Oh, we're
So we have
sitting
a
on
red
gold
button
mine.
you can hit. All right.
We need to get some PHNX panic buttons.
We do.
You also need to put a battery in that thing because the fact that doesn't buzz is just...
All it
annoying as
says is
hell.
that was easy. Do you
You
want
could
that?
have you literally
That
could have
was
just got like a
easy.
stick-on button that said
my
panic.
You got the button.
I don't want
batteries
you
not
hitting
included.
me. So 1 to 10. How concerned are you?
I'm going to say 4, just because, like, who cares? It's the beginning of the season. Every team is
We care. We're paid to.
every team is kind of having a rough go of it. No team is consistent right now. Everybody's kind of up and down. This is just the way of the world right now.
All right. Well, it's all right if you're concerned. You two out there watching, it's all right if you're concerned because the Mockers are here to fix the Phoenix Suns.
Jesus Christ.
Why do you always, when we have fun, why do you
Because my head is on a woman's body.
well, you know,
And it's not even close.
I was asked who should be in front. I said, I'm the start of the show, so put me in front. That's how simple it went. I love that Saul actually is going to participate by we actually got stethoscopes. We went really far into this, and the doctor
Gerald can't even hear us because he's got his headphones in already.
Gerald, you can wear it like this.
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
That's the way to go.
Well, look, so they're
Being choked by your prop.
Not the first time Gerald's been choked.
hey,
wow.
whoa, hey.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, I
we-
probably should have said, hey, at least you're not up 2-0 in the finals.
Oh, wow.
no.
Too soon. So the Mockers are here. Look, there is something wrong.
That's
with
what
the
I said,
Suns.
Long John Silver. Really? You stuck my head on a white woman's body? Like, it's not even schematically close. This is bullshit.
But it's funny because you get so mad about it. All right. So the Mockers are here to fix things. There is something wrong with the Phoenix Suns. I'm going to give you a symptom, and you tell me why you think this symptom is the case. Give me your diagnosis as a medical professional.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Suns obviously, puberty. Puberty is the first thing that is going on apparently. So the Suns.
Well, Mrs. Esposito, his balls haven't dropped. That's the problem.
First symptom, sluggish start. Right? What is your diagnosis when it comes to the Suns' sluggish starts?
Oh, I got this one.
Go ahead.
They're just not excited enough to come out to fast starts, so that's why they're sluggish. They're not excited enough about the games. They're not excited. They're worn down from all the play in the last, basically the last year. And they're not getting up for these games. It's hard to get up for regular season games.
So Saul,
when you've gone to the NBA Finals.
So what you're suggesting is a little blue pill to fix the problem, so they can get up for important games.
DeAndre Ayton should be taking anything extra. I will say that right now.
No drugs for DeAndre.
Hey guys,
Is that too soon?
All
too,
natural.
Hey guys, Elon's back with another super chat.
Elon, there's no B. This time it's $2. No, but when we get to the 2 billion, Elon will. I can't read it because
Frank the
somebody
Tank Elon here. Frank the Tank and McGee helping Booker.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
Helping Booker.
All right, Gerald. Same.
Thank
symptom.
you, Elon, for the contribution.
Yeah,
once
I mean,
again.
I honestly think Saul's onto something. I think we saw this in periods last year where they played bad teams poorly. Like they played down to the level of their competition. They let bad teams cut into deficits. And this year, when you're coming off a finals run and you've seen how much it takes in playoff basketball, it's harder to get up for these regular season games. Going back to an 82-game season, that's tiring. Devin Booker had a short season with, the Olympics and then getting COVID and missing most of training camp. Like, it's just kind of symptomatic right now where it's hard to get up for these regular season games. And that's why the Suns are a minus 30 in first quarters overall so far.
All right. So sluggish starts because they can't get it up. All right, we got that.
God bless.
You guys went there.
He took it there.
I said excited. You went to erections.
No, you said they can't get up for big.
You talked about can't get up
games.
and a little blue pill. Like
No,
you started going down that road
you
on your
said
own.
Can't get up for games.
No, I said they weren't getting excited.
We will roll back the tape. There was the phrase
Run that
get
shit
up
back.
for games as well. If only we could actually do that. The next symptom, Devin Booker shooting only 40% from the field, 27.8% from three, and only averaging about 22 points. What is your diagnosis on this one, Dr. Gerald?
I feel like, unfortunately, it's the same thing we've been talking about. Like, he didn't get a real preseason. He had one preseason game, didn't really participate in training camp that much. He's still trying to get back into shape, and Monty has said all the guys are. And he's just had some rough shooting nights, when you only have a 6-game sample size, like going 7 for 20 against the Pelicans, going 3 for 15 against the Nuggets, that's going to lower your averages. I do worry he's taking like 6 threes a game and not making a lot of them, but it's one of those things where I think Book is an all-star. He's going to get it back on track once he finds his groove.
Elon Musk in the chat says Robert Sarver should sell me the team because I pay in Doge.
This might actually be Elon Musk.
I will say it's because number one, Devin is not in game shape yet, or at least not to the game shape that he was at the end of the last season. I think it's going to take some time. I just think his legs aren't there, and for whatever reason, he's got no juice, and so the juice needs to come back into the legs, and I don't know how we get that juice.
So many performance enhancing drugs we're talking about.
Yeah, geez. For me, I think he's trying to figure out how much of the old Book he needs to be, how much of the guy that distributes and unselfish that he needs to be with the tired legs as well.
I don't see that at all. I just see him missing a ton of shots.
I think he's being over aggressive at times and then passive at other times as he's trying to figure out what's going on with his legs too. This is a defining year as to who Devin Booker is moving forward and what combination of what we've seen throughout the first 5 years of his career. I think there's a little multiple personality going on here too, along with the tired legs. That's an obvious problem as well because things are coming up short and he just doesn't have the lift that he usually has. Another symptom for you guys, Suns only shooting 31.6% from long distance.
Mm-hmm. I think it's tired legs. I think it's not generating enough threes because the Suns are 29th in three-point attempts. They're only taking about 28 a game, and their opponents are taking almost 41 a game. So they're getting outshot by like 13 threes a game. It's hard to make up that discrepancy when you're not generating enough threes, when you're overhelping on defense and leaving shooters open. They're giving up, I think they're third to last in opponent three-point percentage. So they're giving up high efficiency shots at an alarming rate, and they're not generating enough or making enough on the other end. I think some of their shooters just have missed a lot of good shots, but they need to be better about generating looks, taking them, and actually knocking them down.
Well, I think they're getting looks. They just refuse to take them for whatever reason. I can't believe how many shots, open shots, these guys are passing up from the perimeter to pass. I just went off about this last night, is that they'll have an open shot, and for whatever reason, they think, okay, well, let me be unselfish and pass it to my teammate. The problem is by the time they get to that point, the defense is kind of reset, and those guys are no longer open. So they kind of hurt the team by not taking those shots, I think. And then it's like the game kind of goes on, and once they get to like the third quarter, those shots, I'm sure Monty's telling them, hey, when you have the shot, take the shot. So in the third quarter, that gap is no longer like a 5-foot gap. It's like a 3-foot gap. And that's when they're forcing the shot because now the defense is closer, but they've been told the whole game, you got to take the open shot. Like there's a certain rhythm to this that they're trying to figure out that they have not been able to figure out whatsoever. And I hope that changes soon because I'm getting tired of them just passing up wide open shots for no reason.
You're going to lose your voice on the post game if they do it again because your quasi rant last night, you were quite passionate about it. But how much does pace of play cut? Because Gerald, you bring up an interesting point, the number of 3-pointers they're actually getting off. And I think some of it is Saul's right. They're passing up good looks, but how much of it too is the pace at which they're playing, that if they're not getting up and down the court as fast as their opponents, there's less opportunity to get those shots up too, right?
Well, I mean, they're 11th in pace in the league right now, so they're not playing at a slow pace. Like last year, they were playing at a really slow pace, and obviously that's partly the Chris Paul influence, and this team being good at hunting shots that they want, like in a playoff setting. I think it's something that Monty and some of the guys have talked about, Jay Crowder especially, like when you go from targeting mismatches on defense and hunting that best shot throughout every game of a playoff series, possession by possession, they've turned their regular season into a possession game. And that doesn't help them when during the regular season, you just got to let it fly. Like you just got to play basketball. Mm-hmm. And they're not really doing that. They kind of got in this mode of where we have to hunt for the best shot every play. We have to turn a good shot into a great shot. In the regular season, in an 82-game season, you just got to let shots fly. You got to let guys get in a groove. And I think that's kind of the feeling out process, especially with some of the new guys like JaVale and Landry. Like some guys are trying not to step on each other's toes like we saw last year. So it's one of those things where they just have to play their game and the chemistry will come naturally. They're trying too hard to get everybody on the same page, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a difficult proposition for the team. Like the pace of play thing, I mean, it's a factor, but it's not really the ultimate factor when it comes to this team because like Gerald said, they are 11th. They're not. But the 11th is kind of misguiding because even though they're playing faster than they were last year, they're not taking advantage of those faster opportunities. Yeah. So like we just talked about, wide open shots that they're not taking because for whatever reason they want to set things up. And that's where a guy like Chris Paul needs to be a little bit more assertive. Like it's all great that he got 18 assists last night. Cool. Awesome. Good job, bro. But I would much rather this team be blowing out a team like the Pelicans in the first half as opposed to being down by 20. So I don't really care about those 7 assists that he had in the first 5 minutes. Like I'd rather them be more effective with the ball. And when it comes to 3-point shooting percentage, they have to take open shots, better shots, and more frequent shots from the perimeter. Otherwise, this team's going to be lost. And guys like Landry Shamet, Jay Crowder, they've got to put it together. Landry Shamet in that 4-year, $40 million deal right now, I'm like, oh, Jesus. Really? For this?
Yeah, I'm not.
It's 6 games.
Worried.
I understand that.
He's been bad, but he has missed some pretty makeable shots. I think it's one of those things where those will start falling. That'll look a lot better. He'll play a little bit more with confidence. For me, the 3-point defense is the bigger concern because they've been uncharacteristically helping off of guys too much, and that's giving opponents way too many threes and way too many efficient open ones.
Yeah, that was actually one of the symptoms. I think just play better defense is the solution. This is not a team playing the kind of defense.
I hope they realize by watching what happened last night, and I know JaVale played better in the second half, and Frank Kaminsky played very well.
How much did that burn as a U of A person to say that just now?
What?
That Frank Kaminsky played well.
Doesn't burn me at all.
Really?
Yeah, because I can let go of the past.
Because there's a lot of U of A people in my mentions that can't. Anytime I tweet about
which is what makes me love it even more. I'm like, come on, he's the third string center. You got the last laugh. It's not like he's like a superstar in the NBA.
I honestly, when you brought that up, I was like, why? I don't even.
That's impressive.
I didn't think about that at all.
That's good.
Because I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I mean, going back, DA. Let's just talk about this. DA, by sitting out in this game, I feel like just becomes even more of a valuable asset. And I'm telling you, you better appreciate that guy, because if you don't, Suns, you are going to be right back to where you were 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when you had 19 wins and that guy was still trying to figure it out on the defensive side of things. He has figured it out on defense. He's not a liability. He helps you in every single facet of what you do defensively. JaVale for being a defensive center, or at least a shot blocker. There's a lot to be desired with him. And you can see the weaknesses in his game. And obviously we know what Frank does. So
symptom, final one. Property value at Kaminsky Cove skyrocketing. How do we take care of that?
I mean, look, he played a really good game last night. Like, we welcome everyone who wants to join Kaminsky Cove, because you've been the founder and CEO for a long time.
And I've lost a lot of money owning all that property.
You have.
Founder and CEO of a property?
I'm sorry.
Maybe just the owner?
I was up till 3 writing last night.
Oh.
We're running on fumes right now. But
I'll take founder, CEO, God, whatever you want. I own all of Kaminsky Cove. Right?
See what you're doing, Gerald? You're just gassing my guy out.
Look, he played great last night, and I wrote about this. Like, DeAndre Ayton, obviously the Suns saw what they missed when he's out, because it was glaring in that first half. Valanciunas was eating them up. I thought Kaminsky did a great job in the second half, and I thought that Kaminsky and JaVale on some of those roles, their ability to put the ball on the floor and kind of close that gap like we've been talking about with Ayton is one of those things that DA needs to work on to take his game to the next level. But Kaminsky was great. I mean, we welcome everyone that wants to join Kaminsky Cove. I feel like we got to let them on the bandwagon.
The beach has plenty of room. Come on, grab a Mai Tai. Let's hang out. You know how you fix the high property values? How you make it affordable for people?
Here we go.
The DraftKings Sportsbook app. Our friends over at DraftKings, America's #1 sportsbook app, have a great deal for you. Bet $5 on any NFL game. If you win, if that team wins that you bet on, you're going to get $200 in free bets. It's just that easy. You can take that sweet, sweet money and buy yourself a slice of heaven in Kaminsky Cove and enjoy what all of us had fun with last night. You can do that, or you can basically buy whatever you want, because it's safe, secure, reliable, and easy to get your money out when you want. That's one of the best things about the DraftKings Sportsbook app. No sitting there for a week trying to get your money out after you get a big win. Nope. You get a big win, you can get it out and do whatever you want with it. It's sweet, sweet cash, and it's fast too. So I recommend the in-game parlays. I don't know if you guys have done any of these recently, but I missed on a Monday Night Football 5-leg parlay that would have netted me a decent chunk of change by one leg of it.
Why don't you ever bet in basketball?
Because I know basketball. I don't want to make it too easy for myself.
We're on a
He
basketball
doesn't want to
podcast.
take the misses out. I'm convinced.
No, I know. Like,
He's like,
this is
I
very
like losing money.
This is very much like an inadvertent way of just telling the missus, I don't really want to take it
He's
out.
like, oh, I was so close. She was like, what'd you bet? It was like a 19-leg parlay.
We almost did it.
NHL hockey.
We
Would you
almost
like
did
to
it.
know why I bet the parlays like that? Because they give you the free bet, the basically the security that if you lose, they give you back the money that you bet. I got $10 to do a same game parlay on Monday Night Football. Did 5 legs, missed it by 2 yards for Daniel Jones, the QB of the Giants. Otherwise, I would have won like $800 on a $10 bet.
Happy birthday, Long John Silver.
Happy birthday, Long John Silver 85. Celebrate it by going to that DraftKings Sportsbook app. Sign up using the code PHNX, and you're going to get, just from us, as a happy birthday to you, $200 in free bets if your NFL team hits this weekend. How about that for synergy with your sponsor? 21 and over. Maybe you just turned 21 too, Long John. So 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details.
On the bottom of my shoe.
I don't want to know. We're gonna bring in one of our friends of the program.
You kept him waiting in the deep freeze for like 10 minutes.
I told him we're getting to him 7 minutes earlier than I told him we were going to get to.
Jesus,
So.
he's not even going to flex anymore. He's just going to be stiff.
It must be that. Oh, God. Back to the blue pills, Aurelian.
Stiff
Flex
appeal.
appeal. Our friend Flex from Jersey joining us on the program.
Why do you sound like a WWE announcer when you say the flex appeal?
Do you not like it? We can change it. Flex, did you like your intro?
And in this corner.
I love it, my brother. I love it. Love it. Sounds great.
Don't gas him up, Flex. That's not what we're trying to do here, man.
What's up, fellas?
Not much. How are things in Jersey for you?
It's going good, man. Going good. Weather's starting to break a little bit. It's getting a little cold. I wish I was out there with y'all. But it's cool,
you
man.
do.
It's cool.
Yeah, you do.
I do, right? I do. What is it out there? Like 80 right now?
It's like 75.
Yeah, it's like
There's not a cloud in the
45
sky.
over
It's a hell of a lot better than Jersey because it ain't Jersey. All right,
Yes, this is true. This is true.
here. That's facts. That's facts.
I can say that my
Can we
father's
turn,
from
turn
Jersey.
Flex up a little bit? Because I can talk kind of hard to hear him.
So
No,
You
it's
got
not,
me? You guys got me? You guys
it's
we
not
got
on
you,
you, Flex.
Flex.
It's not on you. It's on our producer, Shane, for not doing his job in the first place.
the man behind the Mac forgot you can turn the volume up.
Shane, I'm just kidding. Come
On
back.
Flex.
Oh, Shane, don't ruin the whole set. He's
Shane
throwing
always took
things.
it all
He's getting
down.
mad.
Oh man,
Flex, we just spent. I guess we could take off the stethoscopes now, Gerald.
Yeah, mine had been gone for like 15 minutes.
We were.
I was like, this game is dumb because I'm white all of a sudden instead of my natural color.
So we
And
were.
apparently I had gender reassignment surgery too.
That was the image. Let's be clear for those listening on the podcast. That was the image, not anything that.
Yeah, they put my head on
happened
a
while we were
woman's
playing
body
doctor.
for the graphic. Yes.
Flex, we were talking about kind of what has ailed the Suns so far and how we're feeling about it. How are you feeling about the Suns through the first 6 games?
You know, I said it with John Bloom on the post game yesterday. I wasn't happy at all yesterday, man. I mean, we got the dub, and there's not many teams that can go down 20 and win by 12. But the game just didn't feel good. And, you know, I said something that one of Monty's famous quotes, right? Don't get happy on the farm. And if I'm being honest, I feel like the Suns have gotten a little happy on the farm. And that's just being real, man. I don't see the same focus, the same energy. It just feels like a team that's just trying to find themselves right now and maybe a little bored. I mean, it just might be a little bored right now. And sometimes that happens with a young team that gets, the success the Suns just had. They got to learn how to be the hunted rather than the hunter. So I think there's a little bit of that going. But you listen, with 3-3, we probably should have won the Sacramento game, and you guys were all there for Denver. So this team could easily be 5-1. The only game that I felt was a real dud was the Portland game. So I mean, it is what it is, man. It's early in the year, and it just seems like everyone's struggling right now. So if you're going to struggle, I guess that's the silver lining is that it seems like the entire NBA is just upside down right now. So I think we're okay, though. I think we're okay. I think Thursday is going to be a game where we just got to get right for 48 minutes. And then I think Saturday, this team plays down to their competition a lot. And this is something that they were going through last year. So I'm a little intrigued to see how things go on Saturday versus a really good Atlanta team.
Hey, if they ain't ready for Houston will run them off the court too, because they run.
They will.
And they can shoot. Like
they almost beat the Lakers last
night. That's why the
night.
spread is only 3 points. I'm telling you, the way the Suns are playing right now, I would not be shocked if Houston beat them. And then you got Atlanta on Saturday, and if you can't get up for Atlanta, who was in the Eastern Conference Finals, and you got Trae Young and Collins and stuff like that, then you got big time problems. And that's the psychology of this team. the body language, the way they are engaging with each other on the court, just a lot to be desired. And I don't really like it. Apparently there's a vacuum going on. I don't know what's going on.
Flex, what are you hearing in terms of just kind of the mental state of the guys? Is it like you're saying, just maybe a little bit bored? Is there anything else going on with this group?
Nah, man. I mean, these guys just had a Halloween party. Booked to a Halloween party on Sunday. The whole team was there, man. Everybody's getting along. Chemistry's good. So this is a well-knit team, man. Everybody's put together. It's just, I really just feel like they're just a little bored, man. It's just a weird dynamic, but I don't think there's anything else, behind the scenes that's causing any friction. I think there's obviously a transition period with JaVale McGee and Landry Shamet. You can see that. That's pretty obvious. And obviously we missed Campaign. Last night we missed DA. Last night was a weird game, though, because I'm watching the game and I'm pissed the entire game. And for most people, you watch that game, it just felt like the Suns were behind the whole game and were just couldn't crack it. And then finally, when they got that lead, but when you look deeper into the numbers, the game, the Suns were a +3 in the second, +5 in the third, and a +18 in the fourth. So you take away the first quarter, the Suns dominate that game and win by 26. So I know you can't take away the first quarter. That's not how it works. But ironically, you look at the numbers and you're like, damn, this team actually played pretty damn good after the first quarter. It just didn't feel like that the whole night. Obviously, Booker had one of the worst games of his career up until that last little stretch. He just couldn't find it. And I think you guys nailed it, man. I was listening to you guys backstage. Listen, the happiest person on planet Earth in that first half yesterday was Bill Duffy. I mean, he's sitting here like, man, DA is getting paid by the minute right now. I mean, what DA brings defensively and offensively to this team is priceless and is sticking out like a sore thumb. Last night, you can see, I mean, Chris took a little while to get that little synergy with Comiskey, and it just seems like Chris is able to get a lot freer, and even Book for that matter, when DA's on the court because of his gravity. And so, for everything that JaVale and Frank did, that was really good yesterday. I mean, 35 points, 8 rebounds, 4 steals, 4 assists, 2 blocks from your 2 bigs. I mean, we'd take that, but they're not DA, man, and yesterday it showed. So. I think the chemistry and everything is fine, though, but we definitely got to get DA and Campaign back.
Brian McCullough in the chat says, do any of you think the new ball is a factor in the rough shooting, or is that just a cop-out? Yeah, that's a fucking cop-out. That's a cop-out.
Book had mentioned after the game, because he was he had mentioned that the Wilson ball, the difference is like with the Spalding ball, every ball felt the same, and with the Wilson ball, no two Wilson balls have felt the same so far this year. So, and they are looking at it. The NBA players and the competition committee or whatever, they are looking at addressing what's wrong with the Wilson balls and why they're so inconsistent, I guess.
I will take that excuse over the new way they're calling things is screwing everybody over. I'll take because shooters, there's a touch, there's a feel to it. If the ball feels different every time. They're pros, though. We're not talking about when you go to the rec league and every ball feels different. We're talking about
But
NBA
that's how
pros.
these dudes grew up. These dudes grew up. Even in college, every university you go to, they have different balls. They're used to playing that way. When you go play, these guys play pickup ball in the offseason. They don't always use an NBA Spalding ball. They use other balls that they have. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. You adapt and you overcome.
Hey, Si, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something, bro. I love you to death, so I love you to death. You're my guy. But I couldn't disagree more, brother. I couldn't disagree more. Listen, I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100. Now, I'm just speaking on conversations I've had behind the scenes, and Gerald nailed it. There is people that are not comfortable with it, and let's go back to. What was it when Spalding changed to the
10 or 12 years ago? Yeah.
Right.
But the difference there was dudes were legitimately cutting their fingers because there was parts of laces on the ball that were too rough and were not grinded down or whatever. So guys were legitimately it was uncomfortable to shoot. People
were getting blisters. They were getting blisters on their hands.
I get that.
Yeah. You know what though?
But bro, you're from New York. You know
No,
Fuck
I
that.
know, dog.
You know what I
I
mean?
know.
Like-
Listen, dog. But hold on.
There's just no way.
You know,
No,
here's a
you're right.
logical
You're right.
argument.
Go ahead.
You're
No,
from New
I'm
York,
telling.
but fuck that.
Yeah.
No,
I know.
listen,
Like,
no,
he knows. Like, you play at the park. You got different balls everywhere, and it, you got rough ones, you got whatever. Like this is a Manscaped.
Yeah, that's
all
what
over
I'm
the place.
so mad that Manscaped isn't here now.
But that's the
You
point.
got
it's
balls
not-
everywhere.
But that's the
balls
point. Is
everywhere,
they're
man.
not playing at the park. They're playing in the pros, and
Right,
every shot
right.
can affect your percentage or what you're putting out. I'm not saying it's an excuse. And Book was even saying like everybody's playing with these same balls. Like it is what it is. We got to get past it. Shane, stop laughing.
Yo, this conversation is hilarious right now. Guys, I swear, I think it's not something that I think we need to go crazy about, but I do believe that there is a mental aspect to it. I do believe when Book says the Wilson ball doesn't feel the same from ball to ball. And that has I'm a shooter, man. When I play ball, I was very meticulous with what ball I worked out with, what balls I traveled with. I know we're killing this ball thing. Got to stop. We got to stop talking about balls.
When I play with my balls, I don't care how it feels. All right.
Like Flex, I totally get what you're saying. Like there's a particular ball. I literally have 4 basketballs
I got to switch
at
the
my house
ball on the
because
table.
I love the way the ball feels. I like that brand of basketball. But when you go and you play, like sometimes you just don't even notice that it's a different ball. You just play with it.
I love that Saul's riding both sides of this fence. I have a very particular ball I like. But
but when I go play at the rec or if I go play at the gym, like, hey, there's no excuses. You got to win the game. Figure it out.
Hold on, Sal. When you go play at the rec, do you not try to argue to get your ball in the game? I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I got the best ball in the gym right here. And
Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it just doesn't happen.
I must have missed where they're paying you millions of dollars to go play rec league basketball.
I don't give a fuck. Ball is ball. Shit.
I mean, but sometimes you just feel more comfortable playing with balls that you recognize instead of foreign balls.
Hey, Gerald, you're killing me, bro.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
I'm sorry, I
man.
couldn't help
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Put the balls back in the sack.
Iverson Vlogs in the chat said Paul George even said something about the ball. Yeah, because I want to listen to Paul George and his thoughts on a fucking basketball.
We do have a question from Brian, and I think I saw this earlier as well about campaign. Monty said today that DA and campaign both did a little bit more. They didn't participate in 5-on-5 yet, which is usually like the big indicator that a guy's ready to come back. But he did say campaign is kind of ramping up. So hopefully he'll be back soon. I'd be surprised if either one of these guys play tomorrow, but they're kind of taking it day by day right now.
Yeah. Saturday seems like a logical time
Agreed.
to bring back.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, agreed. That's you're 100%, Gerald. That's exactly what I'm hearing. They just not ready yet, and DA's a little bit, Cam's a little bit more further along. But yeah, I don't expect them to play Thursday. But if they're ready for Saturday, I mean, we should be able to handle our business versus Houston on Thursday.
Also,
if we don't, shame on us.
Also, I do want to go back to this because we kind of skated over it a little bit. The rule changes and the adjustments that players are having to make. I don't know about you, but I know there's several NBA players that have already spoken out about the fact that they love the rule changes because there's no more gimmicky bullshit like James Harden trying to hook players as he's going up for a shot, and that's just not getting called. And to me, it's such a better brand of basketball. The only thing they could have done is to eliminate the foul on a fast break and not punish that team.
Right.
Like, I feel like as opposed to a clear path foul, which you should still have, I feel like there should be a numbers foul. Like if you have a 3-on-1 and somebody fouls you, that should be an automatic tech as well, and you get 2 shots in the ball back. I do feel that way because it's ruining basketball. They pointed it out last night on the show, like, oh, how refreshing was that 3-on-2 fast break? We haven't seen that in a while. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's like the beauty of basketball.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, guy. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Espo.
I was just going to ask, do you think that Flex? Do you think that's affecting CP3 in some ways because he's been known
Book.
Well, I think
that's what I think. I think it's affecting
CP3
Booker to a
has
degree.
been more crafty though over the years in figuring out ways to play to those rules, to get to the line, to get guys in foul trouble.
He's still been able to do the up and under and still get the foul call.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to do the kind of the back into the guy that he liked to do. And get things. I wonder if that's impacting him too. What do you think, Flex?
Yeah, you know what, guys? I think with Devin's an old school guy. So I don't think this is gonna. I think right now there's an adjustment, but I know Devin likes to play like this. Devin was playing in gyms when he was 12, 13 with grown men. So I mean, he's accustomed to playing like that. I don't think he's gonna have much of a problem. I think here's the thing, guys. I do think it will affect some players, but I think there's some players that have been playing like this their whole life, and I think Book and CP, those guys have, Book in particular, I know is embracing this new, this new rule, and I think CP is just a vet, man. He's been around too long to not figure this out. But I tell you what, I like the rules, man. I like that they're letting them play, and I tell you what, if this rule wasn't in place, the Suns lose yesterday, because there were a bunch of plays at the end of this game where last year their calls on the Suns, and this year they let them play. And so I'm watching the game last night, and it was refreshing. I'm an old school guy, like Sal said. I'm from New York, man. It's no blood, no foul type stuff where I go play. So I like it, man. I love it. Let them play a low ball. I grew up in the '90s, man, watching people get clotheslined and just getting picked up, and nothing. The ref don't say anything. So I like it. I think the Suns right now are adjusting. I hate what we're doing on defense. I don't think we're. I think you mentioned it earlier, Espo. Our defense is a problem. And I don't think we're utilizing the new rules enough on defense. I think we need to get a little bit more physical. And I think we saw that in the second half. They were a little bit more up in their chest and realizing that the refs are going to let them play a little bit. I think in the beginning, they were kind of just sitting back. So, yeah, take advantage of the rules. Get handsy. Get out there. Get out in the perimeter, put a body on somebody, and trust that the rules are in place now where you can actually play a little defense.
Couple of quick things on that, because Frank Kaminsky mentioned it. We asked him about how he defended Valanciunas in that second half, and he was saying, like, I kind of like the new rules because they allowed me to be a little bit more physical. Otherwise, he wouldn't stand a chance against a guy like JV. And also looking at the free throw numbers, the Suns are actually up about 3 free throw attempts per game this year. Book is down from about 6 to like 4. But Chris Paul's are actually up from like 2 to 4. So
Interesting.
Obviously really early stuff so far, but the Suns have been getting to the line more. It's just weird that they haven't been making them is the problem there.
That new damn ball, man. That new damn ball.
Saul's about to leave the set again.
Flex, one final one for you before we let you go. Obviously, earlier in the week, Jalen Smith's rookie option wasn't picked up. He's been the talk of rumors since the offseason in terms of trades. Have you heard anything new about either a potential Thaddeus Young move or anything else involving Jalen Smith?
Listen, I know I may sound like a broken record and people may not want to keep hearing this, but the Thaddeus Young deal is still very much in play, guys. It's still very much in play. I still think that is eventually going to happen. And I will go so far as to say, I think the Suns not picking up Jalen's option had a lot to do, obviously, with the tax next year. And the implications of that. But there's also, from what I'm hearing, there's also a part of the negotiation that the new team getting Jalen Smith that probably didn't want him on that option picked up. So I think the Suns are doing a little bit of Suns business, and they're also looking at potential suitors and what they're feeling about a Jalen Smith trade. I don't think anybody whether it's the Suns or not, is willing to pick up that third-year option for a guy that really hasn't shown enough. So I wouldn't be surprised if San Antonio has something to say and say, hey, listen, we love to get Jalen in the gym, get our eyes on him, get our hands on him, throw him into our system, let him play a little bit, and see what we got. And then we'll cross that bridge when we get here. But we feel much more comfortable knowing we can pull the cord at the end of the year as opposed to knowing that he's locked in for that almost $5 million for the third year. So I think there's a little bit of negotiations and background things that got something to do with that. I don't think Jalen's going to be around too long, though. Obviously, whether it's earlier now or in the offseason.
He is Flex from Jersey.
Wait, before you go, there's a comment in the chat that said, Flex, can you tell us who in the front office is smoking crack because someone is? That is so damn vague. it's just like, I know somebody is.
Oh, man.
I got it.
I'm sorry. I ain't got those type of sources, man. They're not telling me who's smoking crack.
If you want to follow Flex, you can follow him at Flex from Jersey. Always a pleasure, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Yo, pleasure's mine. Love you guys.
All right. Always good to hear from Flex. That may go down as one of the weirdest 3 minutes in show history talking about
The balls.
the Wilson balls.
Yeah.
That's a Hall of Famer. If you just tuned in, go back, rewind, and watch that. You will either thank us or hate us for it. I don't know which one. We got a final segment. We're going to do a snake draft today. We're going to look at the best role players in Suns history.
There's a
the
glaring
premise.
omission from this list, by the way.
We'll
and
talk about it.
I thought about it afterwards. Like, why didn't I put that on there? I don't know why I didn't.
This was inspired by our friend Cody Hunt, a multiple-time Sonny winner, I believe. I'm just making it. I don't. If you're not, you are in my books, Cody. He put out a Twitter poll about the most beloved Phoenix Suns role player, an entire 64-person bracket. The second round, I believe, is opening its voting at 3 p.m. Wednesday today, so you can go out there and vote for it. But it got me thinking, if we were to pick our own team, our own five guys that we love and draft them, who would it be? So Gerald had the number one pick. And Gerald, who did you go with as your number one pick?
Yeah, why do I keep getting the number one pick? I feel like
Well,
I had the number
Saul
one
had
pick,
it and he didn't
but you
respond.
guys couldn't wait for me to come back from my lunch date, so that's how that
stuff
went.
going on.
Lunch date, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know how
He
else
took
to
the
put it.
misses out because he actually hit on a single game parlay.
Sweet winnings.
Yeah.
For my number one pick, I had to go with a number one seed in Cody's bracket, Leandro Barbosa, the Brazilian Blur. He has a fantastic nickname, just a beloved guy in the Valley. Had multiple stints here. Like, can't go wrong with Barbosa.
No, well, you can, because I think you got left the number one guy on the board for longtime Suns fans, because it's totally irrational why they loved him. But and it was my number one pick. It's Sox Elliott Perry. He was the most irrational, beloved Suns role player.
Crickets.
I'm gonna win. You guys suck, so I'm gonna win in this. Saul, if you
You're
Mr.
gonna lose
Big
right off
Shot,
the bat.
who are the two people you pick next? Then, if you're Mr. Big Shot,
I mean, they're better than fucking Sox.
he's looking at his phone trying to figure out who the hell.
It's Richard Dumas and Raja Bell.
You pick Richard Dumas, who lasted all of like 12 minutes as a Sun.
In his very first year, that's when I'm taking his prime year. He was as good as anybody out there.
He's not beloved though.
I don't give a shit.
That's what this is about. It's the most beloved role player.
I thought it was his best role players.
We clearly did not get the assignment.
Saul's failing the assignment by simply showing up for the assignment.
Well, I love you, Richard Dumas. So
and your
there you go.
second pick.
I said Raja Bell.
Oh, you did mention.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's back to you.
Okay, it was back to back. So it's my second pick. And I pandered to the crowd hard on this
I know
because
you did.
he's not my guy.
I know
We all
you
know
did.
that. But he was beloved in many, many circles. Kelly Oubre Jr., Tsunami Poppy was my second pick here. I'm going for the popular vote on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Kelly Oubre, but it's interesting how much noticeably better they got after they traded him.
You know, I was the king of that fan club in terms of saying that they would get better, and they did. But
that's
this is
unfair because
below.
they traded for Chris Paul, but like still.
Yeah, you could have traded pretty much anybody on the roster for Chris Paul, and you would have gotten better. That's
I like
fair.
Gerald's next two picks. They're pretty solid.
Yeah, so for the next two, I had to go with some wings, more wings. PJ Tucker and Jared Dudley.
Those are
two phenomenal 3-and-D wings, guys that were known for their grit, for their defense. I think Tucker was a 2 or 3-time Dan Marley Hustle Award winner. And Dudley, like, you know, everybody here just loves Dudley. How can you not love Dudley? Everybody else hates Dudley. But I feel like here, at least, we love Jared Dudley.
I was so pissed that he went into coaching because broadcasting is where Gerald Dudley belongs.
Yeah.
He is so damn good. So next on my list, again, you can't go wrong with this guy. It's EJ Eddie Johnson. I mean, the dude turned what, a 3-year stint as a Sun in his playing career into basically a lifelong broadcast ticket if he wants it here in Phoenix, because people loved him and then they love him as a broadcaster. EJ is a no-brainer as a role player here. Held the record for most points in a quarter before Devin Booker came to town and broke that as well. Eddie was great as a player.
What was his distinction? Is he like the highest scoring NBA player to never make an All-Star game?
Yes.
Was that it?
That is his.
Yeah.
That is EJ's distinction.
My next two are Dan Marley and Mikal Bridges.
Also, we're going off the bracket for Mikal Bridges.
I didn't know we were supposed to stick to the bracket. I just went
Well,
wherever I wanted to
you
go.
pick who you can pick who you want here.
Yeah. I thought we were just using the bracket as inspiration for what we were doing.
But is Mikal a role player?
Yeah.
He's
not a feature
the
player.
third option if you listen
Fuck
to
you, Espo.
Rudy down there.
No.
He's the third offensive option.
No, and that's what's going to go to my glaring omission that we didn't pick.
Okay.
And maybe it's because you guys stuck to the bracket, but in my head, we missed on a very, very obvious big one. So
We'll talk.
Well, so we are doing current players because I feel like I thought they were on former. Well, yeah, no, I guess we can. I guess we didn't really
I
establish.
didn't get the
rules.
rule book before we started this.
Look at the list. Saul's going to lose anyway, so let him pick whoever he wants. All right.
Man, that's a pretty good roster.
All right. I picked as my
That's
next
pretty
one
good.
Marcin Gortat.
Start with Elliot Perry. Shut up.
Marcin Gortat. Marcin, the Polish Hammer, was beloved by a lot of fans. This is a personal pick for me.
Yeah, it is.
I
They're
love
all
me some
personal picks
Marcin.
for you.
Look, Marcin coined the
I
term
love Elliot. I
brothel
love
on
EJ.
2 wheels. All right. Elliot Perry, you are underrating the love for Elliot
You were
Perry.
overrating the love
Wasn't
for
he a
Elliot
1
Perry.
seed in Cody's bracket even? Like,
Yeah, he was.
I'm not picking for some
was.
random ass. I didn't go
I know
Marco
when
Milic.
your
all
voice
right?
goes to another octave, I know I've got you.
You pissed me off now, Saul. All
Don't you
right.
dare disrespect Sox.
I love Elliot Perry.
He was you're just treating it like I picked Marco Milic as my number 1 pick. Like, that's an obscure, only I give a shit about kind of thing. Elliot Perry is beloved, so
Perry
shove it up
overrated,
your ass. All
apparently.
right.
Okay, according to Xena Phoenix, Perry is overrated.
man.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, great. One person agreed with you, and we're just going, well, all of Suns fandom thinks Saul's right. All right.
Yep.
What was your next pick, Gerald, before I blow a gasket?
Yeah, so my last 2 picks were Boris Diaw and Ricky Rubio. I guess Ricky Rubio and Boris Diaw.
And
You
anyone.
have quite the
Yeah.
international team.
Yeah, I do. I feel like Ricky Rubio was kind of underrated during his time here. Like, Chris Paul doesn't happen without him coming here, without the bubble happening, without Phoenix becoming a more attractive team. And then Boris Diaw, like, he was just an all-around like Swiss Army knife, except he's French, so I guess French Army knife, whatever you want to call it.
I can't argue with either of those, mostly because I'm wasting all my breath arguing with Saul. But I love beans in the chest as Danny Granger. Fun fact, I have a Danny Granger game-worn jersey.
I
you
was
do.
so I'm from New Mexico, so he went to the University of New Mexico, and he was like our dude. So when he came to the Suns, I was so excited. I got to ask him a couple questions, and that era lasted like all of 10 seconds.
Yeah,
I was devastated.
I have a game-worn jersey, which meant he sat on the bench in it because I don't think he ever played a minute for the Suns. My final pick is Mark West, Big Daddy.
That's a good one.
Just a lunch pail guy. Everybody had respect for him, and he knew he was good for 6 fouls if he was going to go out there. So I don't think you can go wrong with Mark West, Coach Jim, Karan Butler, the greatest fashion show participant in Suns
I
history.
most definitely went with I tried to assemble the best team of the 5.
Okay.
So that's why I picked Isaiah Thomas for my last one because Isaiah Thomas was pretty good.
He was. It
So-
makes me sad thinking about his Suns era because that was like right when I first started covering the team, and then everything fell to shit because they had 3 point guards, and
So-
none of them liked.
It's all about
playing that.
chemistry.
So the glaring omission, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but the glaring omission to me is Sean Marion.
Sean
He's an
Marion isn't a
all-star.
role player, though.
Yeah, but
not a role
he
player.
was a role player.
No,
they didn't,
he was
they didn't
not.
feature him on offense.
He was not a role
You can't
player.
be a role player if
He was-
you're an all-star and all-NBA player.
Why not?
And he was
'Cause I feel like that's the rules of the role player.
and he made like $18 million a year. What role player is making in today's money? But when you look at it, that was close to max he was making back then. That's not a role player.
I feel like a role player is somebody that's not featured in anything that you do.
Well,
And I feel like that Marion was not a
But-
feature
but then
part of
that's
the
like,
offense.
But then that's like everybody except for the 1 or 2.
Could I have picked Steve
options.
Nash, the first version
we-
of Steve Nash? Could I pick that?
Yeah.
Then
Yes,
we could have
you
picked.
could have. He was a
then we
third
could have
string
picked
point
DeAndre
guard,
Ayton
but-
if we're doing that because he's not
Yeah.
featured. It's Devin Booker and Chris Paul, and I
Yeah,
know
but
you
that's
don't see
but
DA as a
That's a crime,
player.
though.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I mean, according to those rules, then yes, Aiden would be a role player because they don't give a fuck about him on offense.
oh no, we're not doing
Saul-
this.
Saul
I
wants to
literally
take
wrote
DeAndre
2,000
Ayton.
words about this, Saul. My biggest omissions were
They
Pat
just
Burke.
don't care.
Pat Burke is.
Gerald Green, Wes Person, and Channing Frye. Those were.
Channing came close because plus with him being a hometown kid too, I think that's a big factor. I think you're spot on with those omissions there. And Pat Burke's the irrational fan love. That's the beloved more than the role player, because role player require having a role other than sitting on the bench, and Pat Burke never had that. So.
I love the Matrix code JJM. That's why I was like, wait, hold up. I thought he was just the best. I thought Sean Marion was the best role player of all time.
What?
On the Mavs. I would say on the Mavs. For
You
sure.
really?
But he did the same thing with the Mavs.
No, he was like a very reduced role compared to here. Like here, he was like two-way stud. Like
No, I know he was. But
I know he's the third option technically, but like still, I don't know if I'd call him a role
would
player
Joe
anymore.
Johnson be a role player?
In his time in Phoenix,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. all
And
right.
it-
There's just a lot of gray area
Well,
here.
of course, there's always.
We didn't
I
establish.
mean, you can understand my confusion here.
didn't
Like,
even know
what
how many players we were
defines a
drafting.
non-role player and a role player?
We didn't even know when we were drafting because somebody was at
That's
lunch.
why I don't role
So-
play in real life. There you go.
Oh man.
God, back to that.
Yeah.
All right, we've had a real distinct theme on today's show in terms of
Cliff Robinson.
Cliff Robinson.
That would've
Cliff
been a good
would have
one,
been a
yeah.
great one.
Good call, Rack.
Yeah.
Rodney Rogers. Oh, I love me some lefty.
Wayman
I beat
Tisdale,
Rodney Rogers
Bo
at
Outlaw.
NBA Jam, by the way.
Bo Outlaw. Yeah, there's you know, you probably couldn't count Jeff Hornacek. He did make an All-Star team there.
I don't think making an All-Star team makes you not a great role player.
Well, I think role player. The way I think we took it was more the
Like unsung
Unsung
hero.
Like I
hero
had Dan
kinda
Marley, and
guy.
he was a role player. He wasn't like a feature player.
Yeah, Dan Marley was a role player though.
Yeah.
Okay,
And he
I'm
made
gonna
an
say-
All-Star
I'm
game.
gonna say something slightly controversial to especially to older Suns
Uh-oh,
fans. Dan
uh-oh.
Marley kind of overrated. in
Hey!
Suns history.
No, I don't think that's crazy. Dan Marley was overrated. He just happened to play on one of the most beloved Suns teams. By that point in his career, definitely overrated. And I don't know that he fully lived up to his potential of what he could have been, what he showed early in those Cotton Express years. So I don't think that's that controversial.
Mike B in the chat, Rex Chapman.
Rex Chapman,
Oh, that's
another
good one.
another great call there. A guy like a Dennis Scott, a 3D who
Although I guess
had one real role.
I'm realizing we technically cheated with Dan Marley because he was a 3-time All-Star. So if we're talking about All-Stars, can't
Yeah.
be role players.
Yeah, I cheated the system.
Saul didn't even follow the system.
There
It's
were
fine.
no like defined rules.
Yeah,
What?
we didn't have any rules for this.
They
That's-
said, "Hey, look
that's
at this
fair.
cool bracket. Let's give Cody some love and let's do the snake draft."
Hey,
Okay,
yes.
so I made up my own
and
rules.
somehow Gerald and I
Sorry.
figured it out.
Not me.
No role play from Saul. That's a personal foul on Saul Bookman. $15 penalty. Automatic first down.
Wrong
Wrong
sport.
sport.
Grant Hill. I loved Grant Hill.
Was
man.
Grant? Yeah, I guess Grant
Here
here
he
was a role player.
I should have drafted.
Yeah, Grant's a good call.
Shaq.
Shaq made an All-Star team here and won All-Star MVP.
Oh.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
But he
So
might as well have been a
granted
role
So
player.
many
that
good
crap
Suns
was rigged,
See,
but
that's why I wanted to do more than 5. We have so many that we didn't even draft.
well, maybe we do a second
Oh
time.
my God, we're gonna do this again.
Well, we have to get you
Out of context quotes.
We apparently have to send like a 10-page rule book to you before we draft anything.
I just
so
need
you're
some
aware.
defined roles.
Yeah,
If we're
we
gonna
need
do
some
this.
rules. We'll have defined rules, and we'll get Lindsay back.
Lindsay's the one that she's like the dead mom that's
Yeah.
like, here's the rules, guys. This is how we're gonna do it. I'm not
Yes.
comfortable sitting in her seat either. This has been it's been weird.
No more Pelicans and 110 picks for Lindsay.
Oh, she's not here for 2 more games. Just you wait. We gonna make whatever pick we want.
Just wait till you see my keys to the game tomorrow.
Oh no! Yes.
Oh, dueling keys to the game tomorrow. I love it. So we will be back tomorrow, pre and post game, to get you ready for things and talk about it all. I think we're gonna
Why
rename.
do you say it with such depression?
He's already dreading
No.
talking
Not at all.
I just realized Saul and I have to, when it's a 2-man game, it's tougher. Well, no, it's not actually. We like talking to each other.
Yeah.
We love you, Gerald, but
No, it's fine.
it's fun to
It's
talk.
always been
post
better
game,
when we
too.
can invite a
It's
third,
fun
and I'm
to talk
glad
shit
you're
about
our
you
third,
before
Gerald.
we want.
Yes, Gerald, we appreciate it.
I'm the best third.
the best third. We talk balls with you anytime, Gerald. We
Oh,
appreciate
Jesus.
it. So,
Land the plane.
land the Make sure to go to gophnx.com. Join the family. We promise it's not all like this. You can get great written content from Gerald about the Suns. We've got great Cardinals, Coyotes. Any team in town, D-backs is the other pro team. There we go. I was forgetting a pro team. Kind of, yeah, fair enough. You can get coverage of all your teams there. You can follow us on Twitter as well. Become a member, and you're going to wind up getting a free T-shirt if you sign up for a year, or you can get your first month for 50 cents. It's just that
Please
easy.
hit that like button.
Yes.
Please hit that like button. It
Smash
helps us.
the like
We appreciate
button.
it very much.
Yeah, we subscribe as well. Leave a 5-star review if you're listening on the audio version. So until tomorrow's pregame, he's Saul Bookman at Saul_Bookman. The underscore is there for the dramatic pause I just put in the show. You can follow him at Gerald Bourget, me at Espo the Show, at PHNX_Suns, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Ahoy away.